Hi guys, it's Charla from That Girl Cooks Healthy. So today I'm going to show you how to make this vegan style Jamaican carrot cake. It's a wheat-free alternative to the carrot cake and it's so moist and delicious, and I promise you, you're going to love this. So these are the ingredients that I'm using. I'm using some shredded carrot, some almond milk, some nutmeg and cinnamon, some walnuts, coconut oil, some gluten-free flour, some crushed pineapple. For the sweetener, I'm using a combination of coconut sugar and organic raw cane sugar, but you can use any other sweetener that you want to use that's low in calorie and is considered more healthy. I'm using ginger, some pink salt, some rum essence because I don't drink, so I'm only using just a few teaspoons of rum essence, vanilla, and some baking soda and baking powder. So now I'm going to start by adding the dry ingredients, so the coconut sugar and the raw organic sugar, the cinnamon and the nutmeg, the ginger, the baking soda and baking powder, the pink salt. So now I'm just going to mix all of that together so everything is completely combined. And then I'm just going to set it to a side. So now I'm going to grab a separate bowl and put the wet ingredients in. So I'm going to put the almond milk in. Now the crushed pineapple, the coconut oil, the vanilla extract, and just a little bit of the rum essence. As I said, you can add actual rum if you drink instead. And I'm just going to mix it together with a spoon. Just want to make sure that all the ingredients are nicely combined. So now I'm going to start adding the dry ingredients to the wet ingredients. You only want to do a bit at a time. So I'm just adding just a small amount first of all. Now I'm just going to start to whisk in the flour. It can get a little bit messy and splashy when you're doing it. Normally I actually use my stand mix to do this, but because I'm doing this on video, I'm using my hand mix, so you just need to be mindful that it can get messy. You might find it easier as well to use an immersion stick blender instead, or maybe you might want to do it by hand, but just be mindful that you want to use the lowest setting when you're doing it with your hand mixer because it can splash everywhere. So this is what the batter looks like now. You don't want the batter to be lumpy, you want it to be smooth, and you definitely don't want to over mix your batter. You just want it to get to the point that it's smooth, and then you can move on to the next step. Now guys, I'm just using a spoon just to go over what I mixed with my electric whisk, and what I'm doing here is just making sure that there's no lumps or any unevenness with mixing. So I do recommend going over the batter with a spoon as well if you're using a mix as well, to make sure that everything is incorporated. So now I'm gonna add the shredded carrot. I'm gonna do this in stages, and I'm going to use my spoon to do this. You don't really want to use an electric mixer or a standard mixer because you want the texture of the carrot to come through. So you just want to stir this until it's completely even when you're adding it in stages. So now I'm gonna add the walnuts. This is an optional step, so if you don't like walnuts then you don't have to add it, but I'm only adding a small amount of walnut to mine, and I'm just gonna mix that in. Already lined and greased my baking pan, so I'm just gonna add all of the batter to the baking pan. You can use the round baking pans if you want to, but I didn't really care for doing the whole layering of the cake, so I'm just doing a flat one layer cake. Just gonna spread out the remaining cake batter. Guys, if you want the full recipe, I'm gonna leave the link to in the description box so you can see how much ingredients I used and the measurements. I'm just gonna bake this now. It's gonna take about 40 minutes to bake. So while the cake is baking, I'm just going to show you how to do the vegan cream cheese topping for the cake. This is optional, so if you don't want to add the topping, you don't have to do that. So I have some cream cheese in a bowl, and I'm going to add just a small amount of vegan butter, some coconut oil, just some lime, some vanilla, and I'm just gonna start to blend that, whisk that should I say. I'm gonna just whisk it. I'm just gonna start to break down the cream cheese. Before I start to add the powdered sugar. This is a homemade blend, but I will put the link to how I made it in the description box. It's just coconut sugar with tapioca starch. And I'm just going to continue to add this in stages until I get a nice smooth creamy consistency. This is how the carrot cake looks after I've baked it. I actually let it cool for about 6 hours before I started to add the cream cheese topping. As I said, this is optional, guys, so if you don't want to add this, that's fine. It will taste just as nice without it. It's not too sweet, the cake or the cream cheese, but it's so nice to just have it as a treat if you're someone like me that likes to have carrot cake every once in a while. So you just want to use a spatula now just to add the cream cheese topping. I don't go too close to the edge because I do like to cut them off before serving. So you just want to make sure that you just go near to the edges when you're adding the topping. So guys, this is what our carrot cake looks like now. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and thank you so much for watching the video.